Max Mayfield is a character who captures attention immediately with her strength, independence, and undeniable charisma, but beneath her confident exterior lies a complex web of emotions and coping mechanisms that can best be understood through the lens of psychology, specifically attachment theory. In the world of interpersonal relationships, people often respond to stress, intimacy, and emotional vulnerability in different ways, and Max consistently shows traits that psychologists would categorize as an avoidant attachment style. This style, often described in terms of fight, flight, or freeze responses, is marked by a tendency to withdraw, self-protect, and keep emotional distance from others when situations become uncomfortable or threatening. Max demonstrates these tendencies repeatedly, especially in high-pressure or emotionally charged scenarios. When she faces confrontation, whether in school, with friends, or in the terrifying supernatural events of Hawkins, her first instinct is often to physically or emotionally remove herself from the situation rather than engage openly. Her body language, tone of voice, and even the way she moves through spaces all suggest a readiness to flee before she feels emotionally overwhelmed. However, this avoidance is not just about fear of danger in the immediate sense, it's about a deeper, internalized fear of emotional dependence, rejection, or being hurt. Max grew up with experiences that subtly or overtly reinforced the idea that relying on others or exposing her vulnerabilities could lead to disappointment, criticism, or emotional pain. This background helps explain why, even in her closest friendships, she sometimes keeps a careful emotional distance, preferring to handle her struggles privately rather than risk letting someone see her in a moment of weakness. Her interactions with characters like Eleven reveal this push-pull pattern very clearly. Max wants connection, camaraderie, and the warmth of friendship, but at the same time, she instinctively tests the boundaries of trust, stepping back when emotions become too intense or unpredictable. This push-pull dynamic is a hallmark of avoidant attachment, where closeness is desired but simultaneously feared, and it often manifests in behaviors that outsiders may misinterpret as coldness or disinterest. For Max, these behaviors are protective. They are her way of maintaining a sense of control over her environment and over her emotional state. She chooses to skate, literally and metaphorically, away from situations that feel overwhelming, finding solace in movement, speed, and independence. The act of skating itself is symbolic of her coping mechanism. It allows her to exert control, channel her energy, and create physical distance from situations that may trigger vulnerability. But avoidance does not mean absence of emotion. Max feels deeply. She experiences fear, grief, love, and loyalty intensely, yet she has learned to contain these emotions, managing them internally rather than seeking external support. This internalization sometimes leads to moments of tension, both for her and for those who care about her. Friends notice her withdrawals, her occasional defensiveness, or her reluctance to share personal feelings, and they may misread these actions as a lack of caring, when in reality, Max's avoidance is her way of protecting both herself and her relationships from potential harm. Her avoidant attachment style also shapes the way she navigates conflict. When disagreements arise, Max often seeks to escape confrontation, whether by physically leaving the space, changing the subject, or emotionally shutting down. She may appear stoic or unbothered, but internally she is analyzing, evaluating, and negotiating her next move carefully, always considering how to minimize emotional exposure. This behavior aligns closely with the flight aspect of the fight or flight response, where withdrawal is a method of self-preservation. Yet, Max also demonstrates moments of fight behavior, particularly when her sense of autonomy or moral compass is challenged. She is fiercely protective of her personal boundaries, and when crossed, she will confront threats assertively, displaying courage and resilience. The interplay of fight and flight in her behavior makes her a dynamic character whose responses are not random but deeply rooted in her attachment style and psychological coping strategies. Understanding Max's avoidant tendencies helps illuminate why she sometimes struggles with trust and intimacy. She may keep friends at arm's length, hesitate to share personal experiences, or downplay emotional needs, not because she doesn't value connection, but because past experiences have taught her that dependence on others carries risk. Her experiences with family, her personal history, and even the trauma she witnesses and experiences in Hawkins contribute to this self-protective orientation. Despite these challenges, Max is not closed off completely. She demonstrates growth, empathy, and the ability to form deep bonds, particularly when she feels safe enough to lower her guard. Her journey highlights the tension between independence and connection, showing that even individuals with avoidant attachment can crave closeness and friendship, but the path to achieving it is often cautious and measured. Max's story is a reminder that human behavior is nuanced, and what may appear as aloofness or detachment is frequently a sophisticated, adaptive strategy for emotional survival. She embodies the complex balancing act between seeking connection and protecting the self, illustrating how attachment patterns shape not only personal relationships but also the ways we engage with the broader world around us. Her skateboarding, her bold personality, and her occasional withdrawal are all expressions of this internal negotiation, a visible manifestation of her psychological framework. By observing Max through the lens of avoidant attachment, we gain insight into the subtle ways in which early experiences, coping mechanisms, and interpersonal fears interact to shape behavior. She is a vivid example of how trauma, environmental cues, and learned strategies influence responses to stress and emotional intimacy. Max's narrative encourages viewers to think critically about the behaviors of those around them, fostering empathy for people who may navigate relationships differently due to their attachment styles. It also underscores that attachment is not destiny. Max's capacity for connection, growth, and courage reveals the potential for overcoming avoidance, embracing trust, and finding balance between self-protection and vulnerability. In essence, Max Mayfield teaches us that emotional self-defense is a natural human response, but that courage, friendship, and intimacy often require stepping outside the comfort of avoidance. Her story is both a study in psychology and a celebration of resilience, illustrating the beauty and difficulty of being human, of balancing fear with desire, and of learning to skate through life while sometimes daring to stop and let others in. By examining Max's fight, flight, or skate tendencies, we understand not only her behavior but also a universal truth: the struggle between protecting oneself and seeking connection is something nearly everyone experiences, and navigating it is a lifelong journey of growth, trust, and emotional discovery. Max's character, layered with complexity and relatable human instincts, serves as a mirror for viewers to reflect on their own attachment patterns, responses to stress, and strategies for building meaningful connections, reminding us all that even in avoidance, there is potential for profound courage, empathy, and love.